Blockbuster mentality. Blockbuster mentality. Blockbuster mentality. And we're going to the movies.
It's been just a couple episodes. We had our big confession episode. We said the top 5 movies we should have seen. We really bore our souls, confessed to the ones we lied to each other about. And this one was, I don't know if this one made your list, but maybe your short list.
Yeah, if you listen to the shows, you would know that this did make my list. Yeah. Sorry.
I should pay more attention.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But yeah,
you edit them. So
well, that was, I don't remember past yesterday. So.
Yeah, I know.
We are doing, not only do we confess, and that's a good thing, but we go a step farther by remedying that problem by going and see the movie.
We're fixing our mistakes.
Yeah, we are.
And
in this case, seeing 1986 Stand By Me, directed by Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner film.
Interesting film here. Now, another one that could have possibly made my list, and I don't know if you are, because I've now, as I like to do, is grab the IMDb of the director. This is Spinal Tap, was his first feature film. I've never seen that movie.
That was his first one.
Yeah.
I want to say I've seen it. I mean, I know I've seen lots of it.
I want to say I saw it too, but I didn't.
I would really love to say I saw that.
The Sure Thing. I don't know if that one was well regarded.
Yeah.
Then followed by Stand By Me, 86. Princess Bride, of course. When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
Misery, yes. Few Good Men. North. I don't even know what that is.
He has such a wide range of films.
Yeah, he really does.
Misery, When Harry Met Sally, Princess Bride.
Yeah, the salary, and then just thinking about Spinal Tap.
I was hoping you didn't catch that.
Nobody caught it.
Well, now they did. But anyways,
Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, Misery. Here I got romantic comedy, Few Good Men, American President. I never saw that.
He was an actor in All in the Family,
Meathead,
which
but I never saw.
I watched as a kid on Nick at Night. I don't remember much of it, but those were the days.
I've never seen an episode of that show.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know it was Meathead?
Just because of hearing people like you say that. No, just really, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Then The Story of Us. I think I might have skipped over one. Ghost of Mississippi. I think I saw that in school. Alex and Emma. Rumor has it. The Bucket List, which was kind of not that great. Flipped. The Magic of Belle Isle. That doesn't sound good.
Man, he's done a lot.
I don't even care anymore. Last thing was Shock and Awe in 2017. So he really hasn't had a good movie in quite a while.
When was the first time you saw Stand By Me? Did we mention we're doing Stand By Me?
We are doing it. I don't think we've mentioned it. But hopefully if they've downloaded the show and they're listening to it, they have some idea that we're doing it. But I think I actually saw this one as a kid.
Really?
Yeah. This is a rated R movie, a Stephen King novella.
Right.
Adapted. It's not for kids.
No, definitely not for kids, but it's about kids.
Yeah, I think I saw this one as a kid. I've probably seen this one, I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time for me, obviously. And you know how much of a fan I am of coming of age tales.
Yeah.
And this is what this is.
So I figured this one would be right up your alley. But on the other hand, I feel a little bit of pressure, worry maybe. As we do, as everybody knows who listens, we don't talk about, we pick a movie, we see it, but we do not discuss it until we are here recording. So I don't know what you're going to think. This was my pick saying you need to see it. You're going to love it. And I'm not quite sure, there's always that little bit of anxiety. Did he really like it as much as I did? And I've seen this movie a lot since, I saw it, I think, as a kid, maybe too young to see this movie.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me. And I have, that impression that's burned into my mind that it's an amazing film. However, for a first viewing, you may not feel that same way. So I'm not asking you to answer that now, but, that is that little bit of anxiety.
No, I mean, I've felt that with movies I've suggested. So I totally understand where you're coming from. And it's... I can totally see, watching this through different eyes as an adult versus when you first saw it as a kid. And, and that might be my, I don't want to say fault, but, how I feel towards E.T., how beloved it was for my childhood and everything, and just how it continued to grow through my adulthood, sharing it with my kids and everything. So I don't know if that's a factor in enjoying these movies when you are adults.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're going to get into the movie, and you're going to get my thoughts. I want to keep you in suspense. But yeah, I mean, you know me. I'm a sucker for coming of age tales.
Yeah.
And this movie movie, I mean, it's and I like the setting of the movie too. I mean, I like coming of age tales that are set kind of in the 50s, you know, this era, you know, because you get these kids who are, you know, they don't have the technology we have today. To pass the time, they just have to hang out with each other in a treehouse.
Yeah, it's kind of stripped down.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just the characters and themselves. There's not like the worldly distractions that are going on now. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and that's what I love about, and that's even for modern day, you know, coming of age tales. I mean, they tend to do that. They don't totally show the reality of what it is today with smartphones and, you know, just the distraction of that and TV and everything like that. But I appreciate this because it's all about the characters and it's all about what they do to pass the time. There's definitely deep elements to this film. I mean, each character has their own demons, their own flaws, and you grow to understand why they're drawn to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's run down the cast here.
Yeah.
We got Will Wheaton as Gordy, who, as I mentioned, is Wesley Crusher. Kind of liked Will Wheaton
from Star Trek.
The Next Generation, which I like. River Phoenix as Chris, who's now deceased, died of a drug overdose in 1993 or 4. Brother,
Right.
of course, of Joaquin.
Yep.
Really just a waste of a talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you could see that talent in this film.
What other movies have you seen of his?
Well, Indiana Jones.
Have you seen My Own Private Idaho?
I have not.
I haven't either.
He was in.
I'm trying to think of what else he's been in, but I want to say Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade before watching this has been the only movie I've actually seen him in. I'm trying to think what else he's been in.
Oh, have you ever seen Sneakers, 1992? He kind of plays a minor role in that. Very good in that. Other than that, I can't say I know all that much.
Yeah, I mean, because he was young and then when he died.
Yeah.
So I mean, he wasn't in that much.
You ever see Mosquito Coast with Harrison Ford? I haven't.
I haven't either, but I want to. I need to discover more of those Harrison Ford movies. You know, like Witness.
Good one.
Mosquito Coast.
Yeah.
You've seen Witness?
Witness and Frantic is good.
Yeah,
as well.
Frantic.
Yeah, that's a Polanski film.
I know there's a couple others of Harrison Ford.
Presumed Innocence, another good one.
Yeah, I never saw that one. Yeah, so I mean, there's Harrison Ford movies because I've always focused on Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
He's good.
And then I've seen him obviously in
Sabrina.
I've seen parts of that. I mean, but that's
not great. But.
Yeah, in obviously the Jack Ryan movies, I've seen him in that.
I love those. Air Force One,
Clear and Present Danger. So yeah, but anyways, tangent. But that's funny that he was in Mosquito Coast with him, and then he played the young Harrison Ford in Last Crusade.
Yeah,
but,
just sad that that kind of went that way. And then Corey Feldman, who he kind of had his issues, and he blames it on abuse on set.
Yeah,
which actually at one point I was watching this movie thinking, God, did that happen on this movie?
Right.
Is this why River Phoenix became a drug addict? I don't know if he was an addict per se, but he had an overdose. But you don't know what happens to these kids.
And nowadays it's hard not to think of that. Like what actually happened. With these folks, because I mean Corey Feldman, I mean he's starting to speak out about the abuse he went through and everything. So
and what was it, Corey Haim?
Corey Haim, yeah.
He was that suicide or overdose or. I don't know.
I want to. I mean, it was overdose, but I think it was intentional.
Like
So suicide. Don't quote me on that, but
we also get Jerry O'Connell, an older than them, but obviously younger Kiefer Sutherland, and Richard Dreyfuss, who plays an older Gordy.
But also we get, which I must not have looked at the IMDb deep enough in this. We also get a young John Cusack. Yeah. Which
playing the older brother of Gordy.
Nice surprise.
Definitely.
And he plays a very likable character from the little bit we see of him.
I think the cast here is great.
Yeah, great cast. Absolutely.
Great performances all around.
Now, each of these kids has an issue. I mean, you got Will Wheaton, who had this brother who was, a football star and was supposed to do great things, tragically died in a car accident,
Right.
and now this little brother is kind of living in his shadow, and his parents are kind of resentful of him in a way. You got Corey Feldman, whose dad apparently was in World War II, said he was stormed Normandy Beach, but he's abusive, and that's why his ears all messed up, because he got put on the stove.
Pretty bad
so
there.
I mean, these characters have been through a lot. River Phoenix, he's got an older brother who's a deadbeat. His dad, obviously, he says, either way, my dad's going to beat me, so let's go on this journey. But
He's got a bad name.
Yeah, but Jerry O'Connell's character, I don't know if I missed it. Was there something he went through?
No,
or?
I think he's the one that he's more like the innocent idiot.
Okay, yeah.
Happy-go-lucky idiot.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's capable of even. He's just more simple.
Yeah, 'cause obviously, I think he has a deadbeat brother or whatever.
Yeah,
too,
but I don't think he doesn't seem to be concerned about that. He's
Right.
just sort of he's like the last kid, part of the gang, but they like him because he's a nice kid. He doesn't bother
Right,
anybody.
yeah.
So I don't think he has any trauma that he's dealing with.
Okay,
Good question there.
I just wanted to make sure
I don't think so.
didn't miss anything with that. Because we get their camaraderie right away when they're in that tree house, and you get kind of
It's funny, right?
the hierarchy in a sense in that group. Obviously,
I think Chris is a year older than all of them.
and that's River Phoenix.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, because he kind of
He's bigger.
Yeah, and he's like kind of the leader of that
Yeah.
group. Like he says what's happening and everything.
They have like cigarettes rolled up in his shirt.
Yeah. I couldn't help but thinking about. Family Guy did an episode about they did like 3 different Stephen King movies, and one of them was Stand By Me, Shawshank Redemption, and then I forget what the other one was, but I don't know, that it just reminded me of that. So anyways,
So one thing I'll just say from the outset, I think what I really love about this film is the back and forth between humor, genuine laughs, and I think pain and tragedy.
yeah, pain and tragedy.
Like both of them going back and forth because they're kids, right? They find silly things to laugh about. They have their like little routines about, like give me some skin, and like their little games and their little like songs that they have. But then they're also they're just 12-year-olds dealing with this massive pressure of the world coming down on them. I find this a very moving film. Even I don't know, maybe it's just because I've watched it so many times. Even from the opening scene, which we get Richard Dreyfuss sitting in like a Land Rover in a sort of just a street
right.
off in the middle of nowhere. He's reading a newspaper headline that says, "Attorney Chris Chambers killed in a stabbing or something, stabbed to death."
Which I didn't click until the very end.
Right. And you get the actual slow, different version of Stand By Me playing in the background. I almost find just the opening scene a bit emotional. And I find myself getting choked up throughout this film as it goes along. It's just a little like I feel almost helpless like for these characters.
Yeah, the little moments you get with them. I mean, again, just because of what they're going through in their lives. I mean, especially the Will Wheaton character. I mean, it's just you get that first glimpse, like he's asking his mom, "Hey, where's the canteen?" His mom's not answering. He asks again, his mom's not answering, and then his dad finally says, "It's in Denny's room."
Yeah.
And because the mom didn't want to say that because they're so pained over their prized son's death. Which, I mean, you're going to be pained over that. But, I mean, and it's...
No one's worried about how the other remaining son feels.
Yeah. And
what his difficulties are.
And that's, just so sad. I mean, you get those deep elements in this movie. And I just love those flashbacks with John Cusack,
Those are great.
When he gives them the Yankee hat, and then when they're at the dinner table and the dad's like talking about his football thing, and John Cusack's even like, oh, did you hear about his his story? What's Will Wheaton's character's name? I'm sorry, I'm
Gordy.
You hear Gordy's story, and they're like don't care about that. They're all focused on him. It reminds me of other movies too, like where the big brother is the one that's getting the attention.
Yeah,
kind of like E.T. in a way. I mean, you got Michael and Elliot. Michael's
I can see
obviously
that. Yeah.
The older brother he's on the football team and everything like that.
And I'm sure you've done that.
The loner,
You've done that in your life, right?
Right. Yeah.
Where you defer attention to someone else because you know that they deserve or they need it at least at that moment. They're a person too. They've been ignored.
Yeah.
And that's what I think what Chris says to Gordy later on in the movie is he's like, my dad hates me. He's like, your dad doesn't even know you.
Right. Yeah.
And that's, I mean, you're a 12-year-old kid, your dad literally doesn't know you. I mean, even that, I guess it's a sort of a better answer, but it's not a great answer.
No, definitely not. And that's not on you for your dad to know you.
No.
Your dad should be making that effort to get to know you and to, put that effort through.
So what moves the story along is that Jerry O'Connell gets news from his older brother. This is funny too because he's under the crawl space of his house. He had a jar full of pennies that he buried under the crawl space of his house. He made a treasure map for himself so he could remember to find it later. And I guess his mom threw the piece of paper out. So the poor kid, doesn't remember where he buried it. There's like, how many holes did he dig up? 100?
So many holes.
Dude, you can't remember where you put it. Like, it's under the third post by the whatever, or right here. Like, you should remember.
And even so, what would a treasure map do? Like, how would you be able to like direct yourself to where?
It's given what we know. Do we believe that it would be accurate?
So right away, you get that like silliness kind of this movie, and then you get the two older.
When he's under, he overhears.
Yeah, the two older kids, saying like they don't want to tell this other guy like no. So let me ask you this: this is my first viewing. So what did stealing the car have to do with this guy's death? Did they kill him?
No, they didn't. He's a kid that went missing.
Okay,
they knew They stole the car, and that's how they either found the body or knew about it, and then came back.
Okay, so they just found a body?
They didn't want to tell anyone because the cops would wonder, how the heck did you get all the way over here to know where it was?
Okay, and they didn't want to say they stole the car.
Since they had stole the car, yeah.
Okay, and then that's when they came up with the idea that we're going to go fishing down there, and then we're going to find the body and get credit for it.
Yeah, because they have to have some more plausible reason. I guess back then, you don't just go 2-3 towns over without a good reason. Okay,
yeah, because I was wondering about that. I was like, why do they keep bringing up the stolen car? Like, what difference does that make?
Yeah, they're afraid that they're also teenagers. They might connect the fact that you're only how did you get there?
Right.
Did someone drive you?
Right.
Did you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If not, then did a parent drive you or somebody else?
So so right away you get the MacGuffin of the dead body. That's what's driving this plot forward. That's what's driving.
It's a bit of initial darkness.
Yeah, initial darkness, and because Jerry O'Connell comes up there, trying to get their attention, and then finally says, "You want to see a dead body?" And they're all like, "Wait, what?" Yeah. That was a cool moment. Jerry O'Connell is great in this movie. Yeah. He's so funny and just
lovable.
Yeah, lovable, exactly. And they're
going to be heroes if they want to find it, and then that's what they think because there's been this long search for this kid, Ray something, and if we find him, then we'll be on the news as the ones who was able to find him.
Right. Yep. And now, obviously, Will is aspiring to be a writer and everything. And they're going through town, and they run into Kiefer Sutherland. What are your thoughts of Kiefer Sutherland in this movie?
I find him a little bit scary. Do you think he was a little over the top, or
no? Not for 1986. I think he fit. I think he did a good job. He's like, because he wasn't totally just sadistic and everything like that. Like he gave the kid an opportunity to take it back. Yeah. So it wasn't totally like
I put myself in my mind. I'm a 12-year-old when I'm watching this movie. So when a 16, 17, 18-year-old is messing with me, that makes me scared. Yeah. That kind of thing. So, I thought it was well done, good. The gang, I guess it's a little bit exaggerated. I mean, they're like carving cobras into the arm and stuff like that. And then they do the knocking over the mailboxes with the baseball bat.
Right.
It's got a little bit crazy there.
And then they kind of drag out the point of those guys trying to keep it a secret, and then like Kiefer Sutherland's like, "What are you guys talking about?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, nothing." And
Right.
then, like they kind of drag that out, and it's just like he's gonna find out. I know this, you know.
No, I agree with you on that.
And right away they establish they have a gun. River Phoenix steals it from his dad or whatever.
What are you doing?
Yeah. What? Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? And
Like it's a 45, and Gordy's like, I know.
Yeah.
Has he ever seen a gun in his life? Like
what? I'm just thinking about what to think about, Dave. What do you think of Corey Feldman when he's standing in front of the train? He's like, I'm gonna dodge it. I'm gonna dodge it. Is that just him? I mean, because obviously the other characters are worried about it. I mean, River Phoenix finally goes and
I think there's a bit of him that might not dodge it.
Yeah,
and might just take the train.
Yeah,
I mean, because
if you live with a dad that
well, the dad's gone now. He's in an insane asylum.
Yeah,
and he idolizes, but yet he still idolizes his father.
What do you think?
He dresses in fatigues, and
obviously we're not psychologists, but what do you think the psychology with that is? Yes, you're always going to look up to your dad. I mean, like even how messed up they've treated you. Like, not to get too deep, but
no, I mean, let's go there. I mean, what if that had happened to you? Well, we don't know what the story with his. Oh, his mom is still around. Yeah. But it's your dad, right? You're still at that age where you haven't completely rejected him, and maybe if he even if he abused you, you're like, maybe I deserved it, or maybe I did something to cause him to do that, So your dad is still kind of God, maybe at that age.
Yeah, kind of like a spouse who is beaten.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, they're I did something wrong.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's same. Psychology can be brought to fruition with that. Is just it was my fault.
I did it. Yeah, I made him mad.
Yeah,
I knew I shouldn't have said what I said. That made him mad
because he took so much offense when that junkyard guy was saying how he was in the loony bin.
I thought that scene was brutal.
Yeah,
totally brutal.
Yeah,
that crushed him, and that one crushed me too.
Yeah,
because I mean, you think about maybe comparing to Chris, the River Phoenix character, where he's like, my name is shit, right? My family is crap, therefore I'm crap. Maybe the Corey Feldman characters go on the opposite, where, no, I'm going to stick up for my old man. I'm not going to let you talk bad about him. That's my family. And he stormed the beaches of Normandy. Yeah, he's a little loony or whatever, but he's a hero.
Right.
And I want to be a hero.
Yeah,
too.
it's almost like he understands his dad doing that.
Yeah.
Like I know you went through a lot. Like, so you're taking this out on me.
He's
even
still
as
my
a young
father.
kid. Yeah, he's still my father. Yeah, that's a good point.
You don't have a right to talk to him about that, or talk about him in that way. But even though, he's putting up a strong defense, it hurts really bad.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's a front. I think is really what it is.
And it's interesting how you bring about this is my name. You got River Phoenix character who's this is a small town, so like his brother, his dad, like they have this reputation. So like no matter what, like I'm gonna be now this bad guy to people.
Yeah.
When he's explaining,
I'm the Chambers kid.
Yeah, when he's explaining to Will Wheaton about how he stole the money, but he was gonna give it back, and someone.
He gave it to the teacher.
Yeah,
and then the teacher went and bought a dress.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah,
okay, so I totally
sold him out.
Misunderstood that. Yeah, okay. So she went and bought a dress, but
took the money, bought a dress, and then sold him out for doing it because he admitted it. So she just used the confession to get him suspended from school.
Yeah, and it's just like, it sucks when reputation of your other family members affects you.
Yeah. Did you have it happened to you in school where older siblings come through and they're like, "Oh, you're the brother or sister of them," and
Yeah, I mean, it was more so the opposite because my brother and sister were goody two shoes, and I was kind of the bad seed. So it was kind of like they were
Well, that's good though. So you probably got a little extra credit in the bank there.
A little bit, but they were. It was like a surprise factor, for them.
You're a real piece of shit. Huh?
I know. Right? Wait, this doesn't make sense. Your sister excelled in this class, and you're in detention today. What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, and actually, I was in detention one day, and it was in a class with a teacher my sister had, and she had to pick me up that day. So she picked me up from detention, and like the teacher was like, "Oh, hey," and then like she even like specifically said, "Yeah, he's the bad seed." So yeah,
there you go. So you can.
I'm a piece of shit.
Yes, good job. So I mean, basically, what happens here is they go off on a foot journey to find this body down. They surmise that based on where they can tell where the body is, that if they follow these train tracks out over town, they'll get to it.
And they say it's like 30 miles.
Yeah, which I've never hiked that far.
No.
As a 12-year-old, I mean, you're out there. I mean, you're going. They got a sleeping bag. Of course, they forget to get food, and they have to go scrounge up pennies. It's great.
It's crazy that like $2 and like 35 cents can get you sandwiches and Cokes and.
But you get a little bit of that small town claustrophobia where Gordy goes into that general store and the guy behind the counter knows his brother and starts asking him about him. It's really rough.
Yeah, it's that small town thing. Yeah,
he can't escape.
Yeah, and that's kind of how River Phoenix character is too. Like he has that bad reputation. Everyone knows it. And Will Wheaton's character can't escape it either, which is just because he gets it from his parents too, and now he's getting it from people in the town. So I mean, it's definitely rough for him.
So Rob Reiner, as you mentioned earlier, the Corey Feldman standing in front of the train. We get train threat 1, and then we get train threat 2.
Right,
the bridge.
Yeah,
the tracks go over this, I don't want to call it like a gully or a ravine. It's a good, like, I don't know, maybe quarter mile.
Yeah. And you got Jerry O'Connell crawling.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Because
I'm terrified of heights.
Oh, man.
I would be.
And those,
especially because there's like huge gaps
I know.
in between the wood
The
planks.
beam might be like 6 inches, but there's a good foot between each beam.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's gonna fall through.
He loses his comb.
Yeah.
And then
this comb, if we're on the news,
he didn't bring any food. He brought the comb. Are we gonna want to redo our hair? He's funny. And before they cross over, Gordy puts his hand on the rail. Check for vibration.
Right. Makes sense.
I don't know. This one, my heart kind of races in this scene.
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
the train starts coming.
It definitely builds suspense. And I knew they were going to get out of it, but yeah.
They're not going to die, but
it still builds
tension.
suspense. Yeah,
Jerry
tension.
O'Connell's face, the crying, screaming, that. I mean, great child acting there.
No, absolutely, yeah.
He's like flushed and like crying for his life as he's running.
Yeah.
And then they sort of jump off, and then the train goes by, and then I forget what somebody makes a joke as they're.
Yeah, I forget what.
Exactly what
I think it was Corey Feldman that said it, but yeah,
it was great.
Yeah,
it's real bonding here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
The dead body is the MacGuffin,
right?
The story is about the friendship and the friendship building and the journey they're getting to there, how they overcome this feat.
Yeah.
And, not to jump to the end, which I'm going to, but Richard Dreyfuss, at the end is writing the story and says like, the friends I had when I was 12, like, I don't think anyone has that friendship again in their life. And I can see
true,
that. Yeah. Cause I mean, I had strong friendships when I was that age and I don't, maybe on Facebook, I'm friends with them or something or, things like that. But yeah, I mean, you don't have that same bond when you're an adult,
At that age, well, I mean, you can, but yeah, at that age, you've got, the world is so far ahead of you. Your world is so small.
Right.
So that someone that you're sharing your world with is pretty intimate. I mean, tell them all your thoughts. And the one where they're around the campfire, it's hilarious. I forget all the stuff they're saying about
Pez is my favorite food.
last food.
Yeah.
What is Goofy?
Yeah. It's definitely.
Is a dog.
What is Goofy? Pluto's a dog, but
Those are the kinds of things you think about. You know? And then you can talk about that stuff for hours. It's hilarious.
It's funny. I don't know about you, but did you? I'm just going to ask you this, and then I'll explain why I thought it. Good Will Hunting. Did you think of this at all during this movie?
Yeah, a little bit.
Especially when River Phoenix and Gordy are talking, Will Wheaton's character are talking, they're walking down the street. He says, like, you know, he obviously knows he's meant for something else. He's like, if you're still
maybe I should be your father.
Yeah, or something like that. But yeah, he basically says, like, if you're still, you know, with us and don't exceed, like,
right.
I'm going to kill you. And that totally reminded me of Ben Affleck's talking to Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, you know, saying, like,
I thought the same thing.
If you come back here, if you come, I'm going to kill you if you're here. So, you know, like,
you don't belong here.
Right.
He's like, what are you, my dad? And he's like, yeah, well, maybe I should be. Maybe I'd make sure that you're going to, you know, in a sense, go be the person that you need to be.
Sometimes that's the friends you need, you know, that to tell you that, like, maybe that means we won't be together as much. Maybe that means we won't be friends anymore. But I care about you that much that I'm gonna, you know, hold you accountable for what you're gonna do with your life.
Yeah,
you know,
there's many times I've had to, you know, tell Ben, you know, I need to be your dad. And get yourself. Get where you need to be.
Yeah, I know. Here I am. He still hasn't killed me, but
no, I know. Yeah, no, I think that's
because when there's a math problem on, like, a chalkboard, like, I solve it, you know, and it's,
just do it.
Yeah, 3 divided by 4.
Like, something.
Yeah. But so yeah, I mean, that campfire, like we were saying with the know, the goofy stuff and everything.
Oh, how about the little funny moment where, sorry, just real quick, where each one of them takes turns standing guard, and then Jerry McConnell with the gun. Like, every little noise. I laughed a lot in this.
Yeah, no, definitely, it's got a lot of laughs, and then you get that, but then you get that intimate moment with,
deep,
you know, the River Phoenix is taking guard, and then Will Wheaton wakes up and goes and takes guard with him, and they start talking, and, you know, River Phoenix tells him the story about what we already talked about the you know, teacher taking the money to get a dress. Like, you know, I'm stuck. Like, my name is tarnished. My last name is tarnished. I can't get out. And he's like, I guess that makes me a real pussy, right? You know, and it's a great young acting from River Phoenix there.
What did you think about being 12? I found it to be a tough age.
Definitely. 6th, 7th grade. Sixth grade was really tough for me.
Yeah, I had a hard transition from elementary school to whatever the heck I was thrown into. Yeah,
like the school I was at, like, I don't know if it was just a bunch of goody two-shoes, but when I got to middle school, like, when I was hearing F-bombs and, like, and, like, sexual references, like, it was like, Mom, you know, like, I was just like, I don't know what it was about my elementary school, but anyways, but yeah, it was tough for me too. Yeah, I mean, it was, especially because my close friends that I was friends with in elementary weren't in my class anymore.
Yeah, you start meeting all these other kids. Yeah. What is this? What's happening?
Right.
Your body is changing. You know, I mean, it's rough.
Getting a little hairier, you
know. I mean, you start, you know, you're developing physically, obviously, but your brain, I mean, you start noticing more things in the world, and it's hard.
I wish I did notice more things in the world at that point.
Yeah.
For you know, for me personally, I was just stuck in my head and just wanting to fit in and just not knowing, you know.
I had a hard time fitting in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I became very withdrawn in those couple of years. 6th, 7th grade. I really didn't find myself back until, God, I don't even know, in high school.
Yeah. I think elementary to middle school was the toughest, and then middle school till high school was a little nerve-wracking, but it wasn't as bad.
So bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely, as it would be interesting to hear, a woman's perspective on this, because I mean, this is, 4 boys,
right.
Going through this. So like what did they do? They feel the same thing? Like,
is the only female character the mom?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about this movie, Dave? What really attracts you to this movie?
For me,
I know I'm putting you on the spot here. I mean, because I can see good elements. First of all, I'll say there was a lot of corniness in this movie for me. Like when they're giving their camaraderie to each other, like when they're man, like there was a little too much corny for me.
Okay, so for some reason that didn't bother me as much as you. I think what gets me in this movie, now that I've had a second to think about it, is this sense of loss in the film that I think starts from second 1 till the last second. That like kind of sits all over the movie. It is a sense of loss. It's Gordy looking back on his life and thinking about, look, I just lost this great kid, Chris, who he turned his life around. He got out of out of town, became an attorney. But that you can't necessarily escape your nature. It's that we are who we are, and we could lift ourselves up. But life's tragedy falls back down on us.
Yeah.
I think it's almost a bit of a depressing film. Like,
no, definitely.
And I think what you say is corny is like that.
I mean,
no, and I get it. But I guess what I like is as those two kind of fight each other, like the silliness, the happy-go-lucky corniness against trying to fight against the world, which is so brutal and sad, and there's death. I mean, it's a bit of a haunting film, and then we get a little bit of corniness, and I actually like the fact that it does that. The fact that he grabs his friend and hugs him a little bit, and they do these silly little things in these little
songs.
Give
me some skin.
Yeah, give me some skin. And come on, man, give me some skin. With that one where Corey Feldman's doing this thing on the train, and he's like, I need you to say we're okay. This is the most important thing in the world to me right now, is being your friend and that we're cool. I like that. Despite everything that's going on in the world, we have each other.
Right. So. Yeah. No, I respect that answer. I mean, it totally makes sense. Now, when they find the dead body, it almost seems to not really matter at this point.
No,
because again, it was about the journey. It was about them learning about themselves, having those deep conversations with each other.
And then Kiefer Sutherland and his gang show up.
Yeah, so I mean, they show up, and he pulls a knife on them, and then that's when Will Wheaton comes with the gun. I mean,
I think it was about growing up, and it wasn't about, like you said, it wasn't about the body.
Yeah,
and realizing that what we did wasn't. You said it. As you feel as the audience, becomes insignificant. The characters are feeling the exact same thing. They realize that the journey in this coming of age and this bonding and sort of figuring out our place in the world was the whole point.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be known for this. We want to be known for something else.
Yeah, exactly. Because Will Wheaton had that, one person in his life before that understood him and actually cared about him, and that was his brother. He loses his brother.
Yeah.
So now he has to find another,
a new family in a sense.
A new family, yeah. And it's interesting too how when, Richard Dreyfuss is narrating and saying like I hadn't seen the River Phoenix character in 10 years. That doesn't take away the effect of losing that person.
No,
I mean,
not at
you can go many years without seeing someone, but because that happened at such a young age, those formative years, it matters. It's
we go back to the very beginning scene where he's looking at that newspaper headline. I think he's devastated.
Yeah, definitely.
We don't quite see it drawn out. He's just looking at it.
That was such an important time in his life, when they went on that journey. And But I do think the dead body represents something. So I want to pick your brain on that a little.
Is it? Well, I think there's heavy reference between, at least for Gordy, the dead body and his dead brother.
Right. Yeah.
So this
finally
has to
confronting it.
Yeah, confronting it. Getting some kind of closure.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that I can think of.
And then them deciding that we're just going to do an anonymous call because this isn't about the glory. I mean, this person is dead. We're going to respect that. Like, this isn't about that.
Yeah, and of course, too, is that the dead body is a kid their age. It's them, in a sense. They're they're also confronting their own mortality. Yeah. You know, the stuff that they went through, the train, the older kids. The howling wolves at night.
Well, and that
the parents
plus the things they're going through,
everything
before this journey. Yeah, their parents. I mean this kid freaking got his ear burned by his dad on the stove. Like, how messed up is that? And then this other kid lost his brother, and now his parents resent him.
Yeah, I think that dead body represents somewhat of their own mortality and their own confronting everything, all the pain that they have in their lives.
Definitely.
And they realize, finding it, and we're not going to be heroes. That won't solve anything.
Right, yeah. Like, we get the glory for finding this kid. Like, what's that going to do for us? You know, give us a few minutes of fame on the news and everything. But, like, that's not what this is about.
No,
you know,
have respect, and because this could have been us, and we're going to keep this to ourselves. This is our thing.
And I love how at the end, it's because they had mentioned earlier, Gordy asks River Phoenix, am I a weirdo? He says, yeah, you're a weirdo, but
so what?
Yeah, but and I love how they call that back at the end when Richard Dreyfuss's kid is saying, "Dad, are we going?" And then he's like, "Yeah, my dad's a weirdo when he writes." So it's just kind of a callback to I'm a weirdo. I write.
This is what I do,
and also, I love, not to totally drag this out, is that he's a writer, and this death, pain and emotion inspires art. He's using this to create art in the form of writing.
Yeah, definitely. He took that
for this article. It's
yes, exactly. He took a bad thing, a tragic thing, and turned it into something, created something new, and that's kind of how we all deal with stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me, but I find this to be an incredibly moving film.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm not denying that at all. And again, the length of the movie was great.
Perfect. Hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know how I feel?
Yeah.
Any movie that's 90 minutes gets maybe an extra star for me.
When it ended, I was just like, wow, that's it. Because when, Kiefer Sutherland came and with the knife, I was like, oh God, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then when he left, I was like, oh, he's going to come back later.
Right.
And then, no, this is actually when the film ends. That they found the dead body.
Sort of said everything we need to say here. We regrouped. There's a nice bit of goodbyes before the new school year is starting. It's nice. They all kind of, I don't know if they shake hands or whatever they do.
I mean,
say goodbye.
They say their goodbyes. Richard Dreyfuss kind of, you get Sandlot vibes too.
Yes, yes.
So you can see where other movies got inspiration from. This person went on and did this. This person went on and did this, and then that's when they explain how River Phoenix.
Yeah, because Sandlot did kind of.
Yeah,
because the guy he became an announcer, right?
Yeah, he became an announcer. One guy, Squints with Wendy Peppercorn. They had 6 kids. Yeah, it's a great movie.
But they might be remaking that.
Yeah, I heard that, or a sequel type thing.
Yeah.
You don't need anything. We don't need any movies.
Wow, now I'm thinking more. Just as then there was a scary dog, because in this one it was supposed to be in the junkyard. It was supposed to be this horrible dog, just like this golden who's rolling around on his back, shaking his body. That dog's not going to do anything.
That was it was
like my dog.
That was a nice little
couldn't hurt you if it tried.
Little element. So yeah, I thought it was a great way to end the movie, and yeah, I mean it's quick. Well, what do you get about the pie eating scene? I mean, it's obviously him telling his storytelling ability, but I want to say there's something maybe more there. Maybe I'm just reaching here.
Well, one, it's just kind of funny.
It is funny, yeah.
The projectile blueberry vomit.
Yeah, everyone starts vomiting. He just wanted revenge.
Now is that the first instance of that? I don't know.
Like of
what? I know I've seen that in SNL since.
Right? Yeah. Maybe
It's just a hose in someone's face.
I mean, I think
is there a real lesson to that?
I think Corey Feldman's character saying how I don't like the ending. You know, it just. You just
go back and kill everybody or whatever.
Well, it's got to explain, you know, what happens, and so I think that kind of is saying how. Again, I guess it's saying how it's not about the ending; it's about the journey. Like it's not about them finding the body.
Yeah,
that was just a MacGuffin. It's about the journey getting there.
I could see that, and also maybe Lardass. They all kind of feel like Lardass, where everyone looks down on them,
right?
And thinks they're trash, and then they're going to find a way to. It's just a universal story, I think. Entertaining.
Okay.
Good for a kid to come up with.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I was entertained by it. It was a nice, like escape from the actual plot and just kind of get you.
And to show his like creative abilities. Because we heard about his stories and how he's a writer, but that's the only example we actually get of him, telling a story.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you think, I want to ask you this, do you think this is a true flashback? He's writing, right? How honest is he about the events? Is this a true story, or is this a fictionalized story of true events, or pure fiction?
That's a good question. I'd say maybe there was elements. I mean, just like, you got to, add more dramatic effect. Maybe the train didn't come as close as it did to them. Maybe, the dog didn't actually chase them or chase him out of the junkyard.
Yeah.
So I could see that. I mean, but I think he was being
mostly true.
Yeah, mostly true.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so too.
Yeah,
I want to hope. I'd like to hope so.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want this to be a total writer's fictional account, but I wouldn't think that would make sense anyway, based on what we see in the very opening.
Yeah,
scene.
Definitely. But yeah, just like how these are all scarred characters, but they all have this camaraderie together, and scarred people need help from other scarred people. It's and especially as kids. You gotta. Even if you're the weirdo, friendship is friendship. I mean, it's you can't beat that. So
I kind of like this aspect of the Stephen King where he's really telling adult stories for adults, but through child characters.
Right.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
This is not for kids.
and I think I saw something that said like it's almost like. Stephen King is actually the writer in this movie, and it kind of,
like semi-autobiographical or something?
Semi a little bit.
Interesting.
There was a couple tweets we got for this movie that I want to read.
Let's do it.
Let's see here. Ziggy, good old Ziggy from @Mr. Joffrey. He says, just saw this film for the first time a few weeks ago. Surprised me. So me and him are both new to this.
Yep.
He said, loved the weird story about the pie eating contest. Really well done story about a boy who is lucky enough to find friends who understand him.
Yeah.
Like we have here on Twitter. Exactly. Yeah. Film Twitter, #Film Twitter is a great community. Like people who love movies.
Bunch of weirdos.
Yeah. A bunch of weirdos that just love this stuff. So
good stuff there.
Yeah, definitely. It's really just other people.
We should maybe mention just quickly, not analysis, but the leeches. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Well, that leech was that one he pulled out from his tidy whities was that one was full.
That was, it was nice and bloody. Oh, ouch! That was.
So you think that one had the Frank or the beans?
I think they even said it was the beans. Yeah.
No good.
P-Tour at virtual_parkour says, you guys want to see a dead body? And I replied back, I said, yes, I do.
So the most obvious question is, have you ever seen a dead body?
Have I?
No, other guy.
Oh, the older guy. Have you ever seen a dead body other than a funeral?
I don't think so. I think maybe in passing in a traffic problem, but
Yeah.
no.
My biggest thing was coming. It was a huge traffic jam coming back from Clearwater Beach.
Yeah.
For people who are familiar, there's a big bridge that
What
you
is
have
the
to cross.
number one beach in the United States?
Clearwater Beach?
I think so.
Really?
Voted by TripAdvisor
Oh,
for
look at that.
5 years in a row.
Anyways,
something like that.
we were going past, and then we were finally getting past where the accident was. And on the other side of the road, you see a motorcycle like crash.
Ugh.
And then you go back, and then you see a tarp over a body, and the hand is sticking out of the tarp.
Come on, EMT people.
Yeah,
help us
cover
out.
that whole thing. Like that was like, yeah, that was so weird and creepy. So yeah, that
I've seen a dead hand.
I've seen a dead hand. Yes. So sorry, I haven't seen a full dead body.
Well, good for you,
Yes.
because as I was thinking about that, my guess is that most people have not seen a dead body outside of, like, as you said,
Yeah,
for a
funeral. Yeah.
And I think humans have done a good job of, keeping that out of our. We don't want to see it because it's highly disturbing.
Yeah, definitely. It's got to be traumatic.
Yeah, you think of like in the Game of Thrones universe where you ask that question, they'll like kill you for asking it because it's so fucking obvious.
They don't tell you how they shit themselves when they die.
Exactly.
They don't say that in the songs.
Yeah. But everybody probably knows it because they've seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah.
Any other last thoughts on Stand By Me?
No, I just really like it. I'm glad we saw it. Well, I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad we did it. I think it's a fantastic film. I find it highly moving. It brings me to tears throughout the film. And yeah, I love it.
Nice. How would you rate this bad boy?
Yeah, going back to a couple episodes where we had a little debate here, I am off of half stars. I'm sticking with single stars and single popcorns. No more halvesies. I'm done. I'm moving on. So whether or not you're on board, that's up to you. I asked, you said no, and I said, all right, I'm going to go along. Now I'm blazing my own trail. I'm going to give this thing 4 solid stars and 2 buckets of popcorn.
Wow. So you're just abandoning the half.
I'm leaving you behind.
Why?
Well, I think it maybe let's stop being so wishy-washy here. If it's between 3 or 4, you got to make a decision, man. You can't just go 3.5, And it also it gives us a little bit of leniency on the backside where I can give something a 5-star. Maybe the 5-star doesn't have to be the greatest movie ever. Maybe I can give some, maybe get a little bit more there, and especially for popcorn as well. So,
all right. Well, like you said, I can't give it 3.5 stars, but I give this film 3.5 stars. And
what is your prerogative?
What was your popcorn?
2.
2.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think I don't know.
Sorry.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
But I think more quality, even though the length is short, which helps. But it's not like it's not pure popcorn. I mean, you don't like I'm not going to give a popcorn for the amount of times I cry.
Okay.
That's more on the star side. Does that make more sense?
Definitely. I give this 3.5 stars, but if we're going by your rules, I would give it 3 stars. If we're going fullsies, I would lean more towards 3 than 4.
That's fine. Go for it.
But I'm going 3.5 stars because I don't abide by your rules of your own. That's your own rules. 3.5 stars and 3 buckets of popcorn.
Excellent.
Because I was entertained. I was engaged the whole way through.
Yeah.
Hour and a half long, a little
Perfect
less
length.
than an hour and a half long.
Love it. I wish every movie was 85 minutes.
I know, right?
That was the same way.
I finally watched Fellowship of the Ring. That took 3 hours. So it was tough. So
that's funny because
my daughter can't find her blankie.
well,
Hold on, Brielle. Two minutes. That's
it's definitely in the room.
yeah. That's funny. Why?
It was funny because I'm definitely anti movie length stuff, but I love Lord of the Rings, and I think I've mentioned this probably 5 times by now, but the extended Two Towers is 4 hours 55 minutes, and it doesn't feel long. I mean, you can't watch it in one sitting.
3 hours 55 minutes.
Oh,
sorry to correct you.
The extended?
The extended, because I just did that, and then I was like, I'm not doing that. I need to watch the theatrical, and that's like 3 hours.
Oh, it's okay. So I got it wrong. Yeah, but it's long, but.
So you enjoyed the 3 hours 55 minutes? Is it worth it?
It is.
even for a first time watcher.
Well, if you're hooked on the first one and you want more, yeah, we'll just do it. I mean, if you're watching it in steps, yes, just do it. I mean, if you're putting it over 4 or 5, just instead of 4 nights, make it 5 nights. It's worth your time.
Fine. We'll see. We'll see. I'll see what
The Two
I
Towers
decide.
is probably my favorite.
So yeah, 3.5 stars, 3 buckets of popcorn for Stand By Me. Rob Reiner, 1986.
Yeah.
Glad I finally saw this movie.
I'd like you to make a good one in this century.
A good what? Oh,
Movie,
Rob
Rob
Reiner.
Reiner, yeah.
I know. Yeah, I think he's done.
Just quit. Just on
all
Twitter
right.
yelling at Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really
Is that what he does?
the only thing I know about him recently.
All right, folks. Well, that is it. You can follow Dave at Dave_Quist. I am at BCcord. Follow our show at Blockbuster Cast. Send us tweets. Let us know what you thought of Stand By Me. For Dave, I'm Ben. And as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys at the movies.